Why does it feel like the second we hit 60, our bodies just kind of give up on us? You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? One day you're lugging a heavy bag of mulch or swinging a golf club like it's nothing, and literally the next day, just bending over to tie your sneakers feels like playing Russian roulette with your lower back. Man, I was terrified. Terrified that my best days were in the rearview mirror and that the soft midsection and constant nagging back pain was just my new normal. But what if I told you there's a way out? A literal silver bullet to get that tight, strong core back. Welcome to this explainer. I'm going to walk you through the exact step-by-step simple muscle fix formula I use to completely bulletproof my lower back. I'm keeping the actual routine totally under wraps until the very end of our time today, though, because first, we've got to fix some massive mistakes you are almost certainly making right now.
Why do our bodies betray us as we age? And how do we safely get our strength back? I was asking myself these exact questions a few years ago. Look, a simple little tweak in my lumbar spine had me flat on my back, totally out of commission for weeks. It was a massive wake-up call for me. I was scared to death of losing my independence, But at the same time, I absolutely refused to just throw in the towel. I wanted to keep a tight, strong midsection well into my golden years. I wanted my confidence back, man. I wanted to move like a guy 20 years younger without that constant looming fear of throwing my back out again.
So the secret is surprisingly simple, but let me tell you right now, it is absolutely not endless sit-ups. I want to share my personal story and the exact joint-friendly formula I use to rebuild my core. But before I could do that, I had to unlearn some major fitness myths that were doing way more harm than good. Back in the day, I thought the only way to get a strong midsection was to hit the floor and just crank out 100 crunches until I was blue in the face. Spoiler alert, that is literally the worst thing you can do for an aging spine. It's basically a one-way ticket to the chiropractor. Let's look at the 7 core training mistakes after 50. I used to bust my tail doing crunches only to wreck my lower back because I was making these exact mistakes that literally age you faster. Experts say rushing into advanced moves without building a solid foundation first just crushes your spine. And those old school sit-ups, they only work the superficial muscles and actually give you this hunched, terrible posture over time. On top of that, I was totally neglecting my pelvic floor and constantly holding my breath. Doing that wildly spikes your intra-abdominal pressure. Honestly, overdoing those difficult movements and ignoring everyday functional movement is just a perfect recipe for a lifetime of chronic pain. Sucking in your stomach versus drawing your belly button to your spine, this was the real game changer for me. I used to just suck my gut in when I worked out or walked around the block thinking, hey, this is protecting me. Nope. Sucking it in only hits those superficial muscles. Sure, it gives you a slimmer look in the mirror, but it doesn't stabilize your spine whatsoever. Drawing your belly button firmly in towards your spine, though, that engages your true functional core. It feels completely different. It's kind of like hollowing out your stomach, but you still keep a completely natural curve in your lower back. And here is the transverse abdominis, or TA. This is a deep muscle that wraps around your torso like a corset and plays a crucial role in core stability. When you properly draw your belly button in, this deep muscle is exactly what you're firing up. Discovering this corset muscle absolutely blew my mind. You absolutely have to activate it to protect your spine from serious shearing forces. Think of it like a built-in weightlifting belt. If this transverse abdominis is weak, your lower back is the thing taking the full, brutal impact of your everyday life. But here's the thing, training was only half my battle. I also learned about sarcopenia. This is the natural, age-related decline in muscle mass that can lead to frailty, loss of independence, and a huge increased fall risk in older adults. It's like an invisible enemy secretly sabotaging all your hard work. Nearly half of all the protein in the human body is stored right there in our muscles. And as we hit 60 and beyond, we start losing that mass incredibly fast. I knew right then and there I couldn't just exercise my way out of this problem. I had to eat my way out of it too. So the absolutely crucial point for me became this specific number right here, 1.2. To fuel my body right and stop that terrifying muscle loss right in its tracks, I started strictly following the rule of eating 1 to 1.2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight every single day. The standard dietary recommendations we all grew up with, they just weren't cutting it for me anymore. As an older guy, my aging muscles desperately needed way more building blocks just to recover from my core routines and actually rebuild the strength I was losing. Here's a quick look at some top-tier protein sources. So how did I actually hit that number every day without driving myself completely crazy? I just started spreading out these exact foods across all my meals. I'm talking a cup of low-fat Greek yogurt for breakfast,
Boom, that packs a whopping 24 grams of protein right off the bat. Then maybe some cooked lentils, which gives you about 17 grams, or 3 ounces of grilled chicken for lunch, hitting 20 grams. And for dinner, a solid 3-ounce serving of lean beef or salmon for another 22 to 24 grams. You absolutely have to spread it out to ensure your muscles get a steady, constant stream of fuel around the clock. All right, here we go, the simple muscle fix formula. Once my nutrition was completely dialed in and my protein was consistently high, I finally put together the safe, at-home routine. This is what completely transformed my midsection and totally wiped out my lower back pain. You don't need any fancy gym machines and absolutely no heavy, dangerous weights. It's just pure, highly effective functional movements tailored specifically for guys our age. Let's break down the actual formula I use every single week. Buckle up. Check out this core engagement checklist. Before I even move a single muscle, I run through this exact mental checklist. You have to lock in your core compression to protect your joints first. Step 1, I find a neutral spine. So no slouching, no overarching. Step 2, I gently draw that belly button in towards my spine. Step 3, I engage the pelvic floor. Just imagine a gentle lifting sensation down there. And finally, step 4, I breathe naturally. Seriously, guys, do not hold your breath. That spikes your blood pressure and ironically puts way more strain on your lower back. Now for the first move, the pelvic tilt. My routine always starts right here on the floor with these incredibly gentle movements. You just pull your stomach in and flatten your back gently onto the floor. I lie flat on my back, knees bent, and very carefully press that lower back down. I hold this deliberate contraction for about 5 seconds, pulling up my pelvic floor muscles at the exact same time, and then I just repeat it 5 times. It is super subtle, but man, it perfectly wakes up those deep stabilizers without putting any dangerous stress on your spine. Next up is what I creatively call the dying cockroach, or the dead bug core stabilizer. This is one of my absolute favorites. Still lying flat on my back, I bring my hands straight up toward the ceiling, and I raise my legs up. The total key here is keeping your core completely engaged the entire time, while you simply hold the position. If that's a bit too tough on any given day, no worries, just keep a slight bend in your knees. This move builds incredible, rock-solid endurance in that transverse abdominis, all without requiring any dangerous bending of the spine. From there, we move to the bird dog progression for balance and stability. Once I've got that dead bug dialed in, I flip over to a crawling position. First, I just practice pulling my stomach in while holding steady on all fours. Once my core is totally locked, I lift my opposite arm and leg so they're perfectly horizontal to the floor. I hold that for about 5 seconds. Let me tell you, this move is absolutely spot on for improving your balance and functional stability. And that directly prevents those terrifying falls we were talking about earlier. After that, I flip right back over for the glute bridge for lower back strength. I place my feet flat on the floor, about shoulder width apart, and I raise my hips off the floor until I'm resting mostly on my upper back and shoulders. I squeeze my glutes and my lower back as tight as I possibly can, keeping the core fully engaged and actively breathing through it. This exercise is an absolute lifesaver, man. It literally reverses all that postural damage and weakness we pick up from sitting hunched over in a chair all day. Finally, we have the lying face-down forearm plank. I finished the whole routine off with this one, supporting my body weight on my forearms and knees, or my toes if I'm feeling particularly strong that day. The absolute secret sauce here is tightening those stomach muscles and keeping your neck and back straight as a board. I just hold it for a few seconds at first, breathing steadily, and gradually build up my time. This right here, this is exactly what builds that bulletproof strength that carries over into lifting groceries, playing a full 18 holes, and just actually enjoying life pain-free. So, are you ready to ditch the outdated sit-ups and finally rebuild your core the right way today? Now that you have my personal playbook, the ball is completely in your court. Ditch those back-breaking crunches, dial in that daily protein, and try this simple, joint-friendly routine right at home. It gave me my life, my golf swing, and my confidence back. The only question left to ask yourself is, are you going to accept getting weaker and living in pain as just part of getting older, or are you ready to fight back and build a core made of iron? Start today, really listen to your body, and feel the massive difference for yourself. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.